I will comment on the noise. Um, I'll be happy to admit that we can do a better job, and we paid attention this year, and we're going to do a better job in 25. And that means, a little some more strict pre-show guidelines emailed out to all the exhibitors, really working with people early on, if you're doing any amplified thing, how to control it, can you skew? I mean, there's enough Wi-Fi headphone technology that people can create more quiet experiences. We're going to crack down on noise pretty hard this year. And we'll have some more noise police around the 85 decibel rule. We're gonna really do our best. Yeah, that year-round connection is something we're looking at for sure. Inside the website and how we can create some of those engagements. That is part of we're actually working on our year-round ideas to go before the board and ask what should we be investing in. And I agree, we can do a lot more with keeping those connections and help you find people that you might not know to find and help them find you. And that turns into a powerful meet at the next NAMM show. Yeah, let's get into the consumer piece. I was hoping we'd go there. First of all, it is a product showcase. NAMM is a product showcase. It is, and what NAMM does, there's something about collective impact. All of the individual businesses there are there to do business and connect with the folks there. But what NAMM can do, and what only NAMM can do, because I have a lot of people coming at me, and I welcome it, but I put everything in three buckets. NAMM shouldn't do that. NAMM could do that. Only NAMM can do this. And anything that falls in that last bucket is sort of a no-brainer for our team. Something only NAMM can do is get CNN to come in and cover the opening session and to cover global media about the purpose of the music products industry and to go visit the show and to tell our story, right? To get big global media. Wednesday, we tested a 2-hour global media day event, and it was highly successful. So now next Wednesday of next year might be all media day, right? So people need, the reason they're putting out products, if NAMM was only about face-to-face conversations, handshakes, and expensive Wi-Fi, then white boxes might make sense, but that's not what NAMM's about, right? So not only do the products are showing to the distributors and the retailer, you can touch it, you can play with it, you can understand the features, but we are really invested in getting more media and more content created about those products to give you year-round content. So that's why that audience is really important to us. Back to consumers. And this is, again, you probably heard it when you were on the board, Alan. It came up again on the pandemic. I'll be clear, we are a trade show. We are a trade association. Our members empower each other by trading musical products worldwide. Now, couple nuances to that. The unifying factor, whether you're a retailer or a manufacturer or a brand, the unifying factor is we all need consumers to buy our products to grow our industry. The more consumers that are aware of products, the more people that see, the more people that choose to stay with music, it benefits us all. So does the NAMM show need to reach the enthusiasts who are super excited and convince them to pick up a guitar or, God forbid, a trumpet and play another high C and so on? I mean, yes, we do. Do we want consumers at the NAMM show? Does NAMM turn into a consumer, anyone can walk up, pay $150 and walk in and see all the products and touch them? No, we are not a consumer-driven event. But should we be generating content? Should we be creating opportunities for our members to meet and reach consumers? Absolutely. That's part of the social engagement. We also recognize there are some crossover audiences, artists. Artists are very important. Endorsed artists for brands, artists that create buzz. Are artists consumers? Sure they are, but are they highly valued consumers? That's the key, right? Artists are really important at the show, and that's an audience that I think we really need to get in. The ones that are on stage, the ones, I call them 5Xers. And the reason I call them 5Xers is because anyone who exhibits the NAMM show, we recognize that every dollar someone gives NAMM to exhibit, they're spending $4 more, flights, hotels, carpet, Wi-Fi, all the other things that they have to pay for outside of NAMM's control. So I feel like every person that walks in that booth needs to be minimum 5 times return. They need to leave the booth and go tell 5 other people about your product, right? So that's artists, that's media, that's those bigger folks outside the core group of exhibitors, distributors, retailers, right? That's who we want to get at the show. It's hard to control, right? We've actually changed up a lot of the way we do registration because we want to try to control it more. In the past, exhibitors and retailers, you had so many free badges, and if you wanted more, you called us. And you could just give badges to everyone. And then it got probably a little too consumer, but we had no control over who was in the show because all the members were just giving badges to anyone, right? And so we're trying to rein that in a little bit so we can qualify who needs to be at NAMM, and we can try to make sure you have the right folks. The other challenge we have is, everyone at that show probably plays music. So you also have this crossover of like, yeah, I might be a marketing manager for one company, but I have 26 guitars at home and that's not enough. And I need to go try out 80 pedals on my free time. So we were crossover too. I mean, we're all consumers in some way. But I hope that clears it up, Alan. I don't think I'll say I don't think we're ever going to get it right because we're never going to we want to be able to create a space where folks can come who need to be there, but we want to make sure that we have the highly valued artists, content creators, influencers at the show. But I'll be very clear, what we're not is anyone can walk up at the door and buy a ticket and walk in and play guitars or play trumpets. We want to create the fact that we are trade. You have to be invited. You have to be qualified. You need to be there. I want to go back to the big brands because I can share some information, and we are talking to every single one. And again, I won't name names, but the biggest supporters of the past. And I'm the first to say, because I'll tell you exactly what I've said to all of them personally. This is not about NAMM, it's about your industry. You as a brand are here. We gather as a trade. NAMM has a trade show because the industry wants to gather, right? NAMM is not a for-profit corporation that sits around and says, how do we figure out? I mean, that is not what we do. We listen to our members, and our members say, I want to gather, I want to meet these people. And we say, okay, do you think we let you negotiate contracts with Freeman? You want to see our Freeman contract? Do you want to see our Wi-Fi bill? It is ungodly heinous, right? I'm about to pay $10 million in bills this month. So I get it. Like our negotiations are far more painful than any exhibitor has to go through. We know, but we do it because we want to gather, and we're not going to get 60,000 people together in a hotel. So we have to have a convention center. We have to have all of these costs. There's no other way to do it. We're in the 10th largest convention center in the country, and we're already, as you've seen, we're already maxed out of space. So we're there for a reason. So I tell all the big brands, like, we're there because your retailers and your distributors want to see you. So by not showing up, you're sending a message to the whole industry that you don't value the industry. And I've been saying that pretty aggressively. Now, I need to give credit where credit's due, because the big brands, remember, back in 21, there was a time when retail shops were closed and they couldn't get an instrument to a person unless they frankly just went in a warehouse and shipped it direct. Like, there was a necessity time where they had to figure out a way, and there was a surge in certain instrument categories where a lot of big brands felt the joys of direct to consumer, because out of a time of necessity and an incredible boom when people are home and wanted to play music, sort of the perfect storm of accelerating a D2C push in our industry. Our industry, as much as I love all of our industry, we tend to be very passionate and reactive. And what we do at NAMM is try to think about leveling long term. The conversations I've had, even in the past month, with the large brands, I want to come back to the NAMM show because I want to see my trade. I've had conversations with the big brands. The proposals we're working on literally today to submit tomorrow for 2025 of how to come back are all about, I want to see trade. So that consumer focus, I think they're obviously, every manufacturer, every brand now has some direct to consumer strategy. But what I'm hearing now is a real focus on trade, which I think is good. And we can interpret how, a certain couple years, we all got excited about one thing, but as the industry comes back and we level out, I think everyone's settling down and realizing that this is an ecosystem. Our industry is nuanced. We need distributors, manufacturers, suppliers, global partners. We all need each other, right? I said it in my opening. Anthony, we were talking about my opening remarks Thursday morning.
Mm.
There was a line in there that was, every line was well intentioned, but no one company can do it alone. We must do it together. I think everyone realizes that now. And I give credit. The big brands are talking to us. They're talking about trade. They want to come back. And we are very, very happy about that. And we're here to support them. No hard feelings. Yes, NAMM next. So we're not bringing back Summer NAMM. We are not adding a second trade show. We are doing one trade show a year. The world gathers at one trade show in Southern California in January. That's the focus. What we're doing in the summer for this year is we are taking the opportunity to create a small specific event that is focused on getting the leaders and emerging leaders of the companies in our industry together to talk about the future. We're trying to provide a catalyst for growth. Back to the mentality of, we're not sitting back at NAMM saying, okay, the trade show's back, things are back to 2020 again. We recognize that we're still on this path that we have to run down, and we want to create an experience that we think 3+ years out. Where's our industry going? What can we learn from other industries? What's the next generation consumer going to do? How is AI going to affect that? How do we reach this new market? What trends should we be looking at in the future? So NAMM Next, we've announced it. Registration will open in 2 weeks. And NAMM Next is going to be a small event where companies can send a handful of their leadership team to sit around tables with all the other companies in our industry, retailer, manufacturer, distributor, all level, talking about the growth of our industry. So we've announced, Damon John from Shark Tank as one of our keynotes, but we also have booked, and we'll put them on the website probably by the end of this week. I know they're working on it right now. We have keynote presentations we have an opening session from one of the head analysts at Forrester Research, so one of the largest global research firms, talking about consumer trends that they learned across all industries. And by the way, this guy actually has a mixing degree. He has an audio engineering degree. So he gets it, but he gets it on a bigger scale. We have a marketing session, like a real futuristic, marketing session. We have an entrepreneurship session that we're bringing in. We have some workshops that we're facilitating, but mostly it's going to be people together. We also are bringing in, the president of Sony Audio in Nashville. And we're talking about, when you think about music people are listening to, how do we as an industry forecast product trends about what the big record labels are learning about music trends? For example, Beyonce just dropped a country album. Can I just say that again? Beyonce is dropping a country album. I saw this morning another artist in the pop world just dropped a country album. And I know Taylor started as country and went to pop. I will bet my money right now that Taylor comes out with another country album. But you see this. How does that affect the trends of what products are going to do in the next few years, and how do we as an industry get behind that? So I'm giving examples of the type of topics that we're going to address at NAMM Next. It's supposed to be really big, futuristic, and a catalyst for growth of our industry. And it's to help our companies, but also, demonstrate at NAMM that our job is to grow the industry, and we mean that. So we're going to facilitate something that we think grows the industry. It's a very limited attendance. We only have physical seating space for 750 people. And I'm okay if we don't hit that capacity, because it's about getting the right people in the room. So we're going to limit it for the first year. Now, since your wheels are turning, and I've already said, everything we do this year is a test. This is another carve out a path and see if we should run down it idea. NAMM Next is a new brand for us. It's obviously about thinking futuristic. Like any business, we work on the now, and then we always think about the 3 years out. I think the NAMM show in January and the gathering is about this year and the now, and we should be doing something to help us 3 years out, which is what NAMM Next is as a brand for NAMM. But after we evaluate the results of NAMM Next in July, we might end up expanding that event to be a larger footprint with more communities, or maybe we have a NAMM Next London and a NAMM Next Tokyo and a NAMM Next Berlin, whatever it ends up being. So we're happy to go any direction we want to go after this first event.